Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. In today's Everything Music, we're going to talk about Joe Pass guitar style lines. I'm going to begin with a line that Joe would play over an A-flat major 7 chord. Check it out. Joe Pass style A-flat major 7 idea. Okay, so what am I doing there? I did a little quick. I might walk into the 5th. So we get A major 7. So I'm outlining the C minor. I'm walking into the 5th. And I'm using this chord. Da, 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 da. So that's the first part of it. That's a complete idea within itself. Notice how these are played in phrases. The first phrase, da 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 da, but da 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 da. So those are two separate phrases that each have their own ending. So it's like there are two questions and then an answer. And then we lead into the high part of the line, which runs up the major 7th arpeggio. Check it out. So in the next section, I'm starting in the major 7th at the 8th fret, and I'm going. You have to slide there. Hammer there. So that's the first part, and then after you go. So it's pull off. So here's your A-flat major 7th chords right there. So I've got A-flat major chord there. Major 7th. So the whole lick one more time slow is like this. So that's the type of lines Joe plays on major 7th chords. He does a lot of chromaticism. I'm using surround tones where I'm surrounding the 5th of the chord. I'm walking chromatically from the 7th down to the 5th. I'm using the groupings so that it all sounds like it makes sense and the lines resolve within themselves. There are all these little mini phrases that all go together. Let's talk about Joe on a minor 7th chord now. B-flat minor 7. So that's the first part of it. Now here's the second phrase. So. Let me do it slowly. 2, 3, 4. So what am I doing here? I'm surrounding some of the chord tones, like I'm surrounding the 3rd using upper and lower native tones. 2, 3, 4. Then I'm surrounding the root with chord tones. Then surrounding the 7th and the 3rd. So I'm surrounding chord tones with neighbor tones. 3, 4. So what am I doing here? I'm going to the 6th, but I'm using it as a lead into the 5th of the B-flat minor 7. So I'm going, and then I'm going to, like a 5 of 5, going to an F7 chord. I'm kind of resolving it to an E flat 7. Da 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 ba do da da ba da ba da da. I'm resolving it to an E flat 7 chord because that B flat minor 7 wants to go somewhere. Also, notice in some of the examples, I'm ghosting notes. When I go da 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 ba da 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 do da, sometimes I play da do da da do da, but a lot of times I just play da da ba do da. Ghosting is when you imply a note that's there that's not really there. That's really part of Joe's playing. It's part of Wes's playing. It's really part of all bebop players playing is ghost notes. You just imply them and you leave a little rhythmic space. Da ba ya ba do da do do ba or da ba do da. If you play each one, it kind of can sound a little square. So you just leave them out. Ghosting, it's called. 3, 4. The next line I'm going to do, let's say over a B flat 7 chord. So I just did B flat minor 7, I'll do B flat 7 now. This is a Joe Pass guitar style line with the same kind of chromaticism and internal resolutions. Check it out. Okay, let me slow that down a little bit. Ending on the flat 7. Okay, so I'm using a mixed sharp 11 down here. So that's the first phrase, and then so I'm gonna do 13 to the flat 7. So a great exercise to practice to get familiar with these kind of chromatic lines that Joe uses in his bebop playing is to practice the chromatic scale in thirds. I'll show you how. Okay, so let's say we start here. We'll start on the B flat here on the 6th fret of the high E string. So I'm going 6, 4, 5, 3, 4, 7. That's the only tricky part. Then that's the only spot where you actually don't have to leave the position because of the major third between those two strings. So there's no shift there. There's your shift. And I end up on B flat there. That should be a great warm-up exercise. And then you have to practice it ascending. Next you have to practice it ascending. I'll start on B flat. Really tricky. To really get any of these bebop lines under your fingers, you have to learn where your arpeggios are in each position. So a very simple exercise I would do, and I would do it as a warm-up, is to run through all the basic 7th chord arpeggios off the 6th string and off the 5th string. I call it root 6, meaning off the 6th string, which is the low E, and root 5, which is off the A string, like this. Major 7th. I'm going to simply I'll start in the 7th and just go alternate picking. Then I'm going to do dominant 7th. Then I'm going to do minor 7. Then I'm going to do half diminished. That is a little different fingering. I shift to my pinky there, and I go behind to get that E flat. I think that's the best fingering. And then I do my diminished. Now, you can also do minor major 7 if you want to do this. You can do major 7 sharp 5. You can do your dominant 7 sharp 5. So that works over that chord, okay? And you can do your dominant 7 flat 5. That's kind of an interesting shape to play. 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 4, 1. Those cover all of your basic 7th chord shapes in one position off the 6th string. You also want to do it off the 5th string. So off the 5th string, I'm going to start here on D. I'll play D major 7. I try not to have any bars. That's why I'm playing. I'll add the 7th. I'll start with the 7th. See right there, I'm using a fingering that avoids a bar. And I'll slide up with my pinky. You'll see Matheny do that. You see Wes do that. You get used to doing that. I did it with a bar that time. I did it without a bar that time. With a bar, I like them both ways. You should be able to play them both ways. Then dominant 7th. Minor 7th. Minor 7 flat 5. Then diminished 7th. Then you can add in the augmented major 7th, or with no bar. You can use a dominant 7 sharp 5. And you can use a dominant 7 flat 5. This one has kind of an odd fingering. 2, 1, 3, and then I go 1, 3, 4. I can do that or a bar. I'm using the flat 5 there. Kind of an odd fingering to go. Try not to use the bar. Make your playing a lot smoother and more consistent. Those are all your basic 7th chords that you want to practice as a warm-up, both root 6 and root 5, along with a chromatic scale in thirds. That will give you the dexterity that you will need to play these Joe Pass or any kind of bebop style lines on the guitar. That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. And if you're interested in the Beato book, you can write me at rickbeato1@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.